Welcome back to our coverage of the Hyperplay Semifinals, where we're putting the amp in PogChamp. As it stands, the Philippines is up 1-0 over Malaysia as the team's ready up for picks and bans in game.
Yeah, I mean, after game one, definitely excited to see game number two. And interesting here, Malaysia has actually chosen red side. So looking for counter picks, even in a meta where everyone's trying to go blue side and trying to get that, first pick advantage. And there has been a statistical advantage to taking blue side. So I'm super excited to see what counter matchups they're trying to prepare for us today.
I think Philippines actually also did the same in their last game. So perhaps there's something different here at the tournament because, like you said, not particularly standard. But I think given how the games transpire, I get the feeling there's a lot of different picks these teams are willing to play.
Yeah, the bans have not been standard. They've been target banning for both sides here, regardless, of where you're starting. And that's why we got to see, Zoe goes all the way through to the bottom second half picks there. So it's definitely going to be a bit of a change up. We'll see if he gets Graves again for Dodoy. It wasn't that big of a factor. So much of it was the Jhin for Clyde. That might even be a bigger issue. So a lot of focus has been on the jungle, but the laning phase is very important there for bot.
Yeah, have to agree that I think Jhin is the pick you want to try and take away there from Clyde and at least push him onto something maybe he's a bit less comfortable on. Also kind of the same story IMO for Dodoy. Maybe not the highest impact pick, but certainly a pick where he just clearly felt comfortable. That first flash over the wall, I'm like, okay, this guy knows what to do on this champion.
Yep, and we're definitely going to take another look at the champion composition there for Malaysia as well. They were super close to finding their way back into the game with these big AoE ultimates, so maybe that focus on large 5-on-5 team fighting will come out on top this time around.
Certainly have to see, because objectives were surprisingly split. Given the game, it did feel like the teams were willing to push more and more and just look for the fights and try and end the game faster and maybe try and play a slower game. Although we did hear that that is actually slow for the average game time of this tournament. So I think a testament more than anything else to just the strength of the teams left here in the tournament in this top 4 stage.
Yeah, definitely 3 Cloud Drakes in a row is also going to allow for a lot quicker movements across the map. So they definitely benefited there from triple stacking and allow them to get into place very quickly. We'll have to see how that one turns out this time around. If you do have the bottom lane advantage, then controlling the dragons is going to become a lot easier, and we'll have to see.
Also wonder that if there were different Drakes, if there may have been fights earlier, because I think in general teams shown a very big willingness to fight around the important parts of the map. We saw some of the fastest Baron dances I've ever seen, but I do certainly applaud the teams for their panache in going in for these engages.
I also like how much fun both of these teams are having. We've seen in all the video packages, these guys are really enjoying the tournament, getting this far, making new friends with all the different teams that they've met along the way, and it has been such a journey here, culminating in the big Hyperplay stage here in Singapore.
Well, it looks like Champ Select is up and ready to go, so we'll kick ourselves into the draft for game number 2. Remember, is a best of 3. So Malaysia with that first loss are out of chances, must run it 2 straight if they want to move on to the finals tomorrow here in Hyperplay. Philippines just need one of the next 2.
Already some adaptation here. Red side ban of Zoe right off the bat. Gonna slap that one down, not gonna let it through again. RH was very, very powerful on the champion last time around. And it should be a little bit more standard from the last side here. Red side for Malaysia, Aatrox off the table.
Yeah, apparently that's a no-no for Malaysia. So Olaf again also getting taken off the list. So again, like you said, Kirby, in some ways definitely not standard drafting by a lot of these teams. Much more willing to target out the enemy champions because they do play in this region against each other so often.
Yeah, a lot of effort here put in, and we heard from the coach of the Philippines. You can see on stage right now how confident he was in the team to win not only the match, but the entire tournament. Here they are now up 1 game versus Malaysia and looking to take it in a 2-0. Here's a response, though, that Twisted Fate that we saw from Kanji. It was so effective. He stayed healthy early on with the Grasp of the Undying, and he was still able to dive very deep into a lot of those plays and pick up straggler kills or even be the initiation there with a gold card.
Yeah, hard to watch in all the chaos, but he had wonderful teamfight TF ults, which are pretty tricky, actually. Usually you put in and die when you do that, so credit to him and the rest of his team for setting up those fights so well. But we have our last 2 bans here for Phase 1. Rakan and Xin Zhao will be banned away, so Morgana is the first pick here.
Yeah, they definitely do not want to let Dodoy get the Xin Zhao. He talked about it before the game. And Vecchi, I believe it was looking at Dodoy as the one-trick Xin Zhao or Xin Zhao main that he said. But Dodoy is looking to prove him wrong here, especially with the Graves. Morgana picked up so early, though, and that was a big part of the early advantage in the bottom lane last game for the Philippines. Kurosu's bindings were definitely on point, getting them a huge advantage in lane, and the Black Shield later on helping out a lot with the carries.
I kind of wonder what they do here. They do take Kindred, who was banned in the last game, but do you just worry about giving them Morgana Jhin again? Do they possibly take it here? Yeah, Becky blocked that pick.
I think the Morgana Jhin was so successful that the Philippines will probably pick that one up before the second round of bans go through if Malaysia doesn't take it away, but they've already done so here, and maybe we'll see Becky take his hand with Jhin.
Clearly a lot of deliberation, though, about what to do there, but Kindred Jhin are the selections for Malaysia's 1 and 2. We'll move back now to the Philippines side and see what they're trying to line up for picks 2 and 3.
I would
surprise,
think
surprise.
Yeah. So the Graves versus Kindred matchup is super interesting to me because even though Kindred's so prized in the meta right now, early on, Graves can close the distance and bully Kindred very effectively. If he can start getting the early advantage in those skirmishes, he can bully Kindred off of her own ult even later into the game. But Kindred can snowball very effectively. If Kindred starts racking up the marks and Graves is not able to control that early stage of the game, then the Kindred can scale very effectively. Jace, though, is picked up as well. This can be a flex pick. Could go for the mid lane for Kanji, but still could be top side for Wak Wak.
Yep, certainly a lot to think about here, but Malaysia getting a little more defensive perhaps here. Do actually go for Lulu as their support, so one away to...
Or mid lane.
That's true,
RH
actually.
can also play this in the mid lane as well. Provide the extra bonuses there for Kindred ganking. And that could be super effective as far as the team fight play as well. When so much damage is flying around, Lulu Polymorph or Lulu Ultimates as well with a lot wild growth on her own team can be super effective.
Expecting the flexibility and power of the Swain, though, on Malaysia, so they'll ban that one away. We also saw some consideration for actually an early on pick on the Malaysian side, so the Philippines will actually take that away from, I assume, Shiro, and ban that one out here.
Yeah, as we were talking about, not many tank players in the tournament, but they don't want to let the big team fight ultimate from Ornn set it up. Super long range. You can also go for picks and stuff. I do like Malaysia now banning out some AP threats, though, because the Philippines are right now showing Graves and Jace. A lot of attack damage, so the Swain, definitely a good ban there to balance out bottom side.
Yep, Camille also going to get banned away. I assume the target ban there for Wak Wak. He did get it taken off the board last game as well. Final ban here in game number 2. See what the Philippines do select here. And of course, Malaysia will get the first pick out of this phase. And I think both teams have done a good job masking some of their picks here, with both Jace and Lulu, as you pointed out, Kobe, being fairly flexible. So Orianna is actually going to get taken away here.
Yeah, battle over the top lane now could very well be the case. Malaysia could save it for a counter pick. They did pick red side for themselves, so they could just hold on to the top lane and wait to see what the Philippines show first to try and get themselves a good matchup to play off of.
All right, so maybe Lulu mid, because that's a Soraka being picked up here. Going to pair in with the Jhin. Again, very interesting from a defensive pick here for Malaysia, as Misfortune going to be the lock-in here for the Philippines.
Yeah, as we talked about, RH has played the Lulu in the mid lane, so they're going to have double supports on the side of Malaysia, double carries for the back line right now with the Kindred and Jhin. So they're going to need, maybe a little bit of front line to work with, but a Jhin and Soraka lane is also super offensive. You can even put a lot of points into your E early on Soraka and go for the harassment. As you said, Misfortune has been gaining a lot of priority recently, though. You can even go Dark Harvest in lane, get the double up procs, and go for lethality builds. But again, so much attack damage means they lock in a Rise to round it out for some AP threats as well.
Yep, that's Kanji's pick, I assume. So it looks like Wak Wak will be taking the carry of Jace into the top side of the map. You mentioned frontline, Ornn would be great, but they can't get it, so instead they snap off to Vladimir.
Again, could be the Rise top side for Wak Wak. And we'll have to see about the swaps coming around, though. Vladimir has been really effective for Shiro. He had a super good game on it earlier in the tournament. See if he can hold his own this time around.
Yep, certainly whatever the matchup is looking to play more aggressively and not just be the front line. So Malaysia have to set up their fights well and use Kindred ult exceptionally to navigate a lot of these plays.
So many defensive abilities here for Malaysia, with Vladimir Kindred being hard to kill. Soraka ultimate can come through off of some of those delaying abilities, as well as the Lulu. It's going to be up to the Philippines to really keep track of these defensive cooldowns and try and work themselves around it. Whereas the Philippines, full offense here for the entire lineup, just going to bully straight through with so much damage. And only a couple pieces of crowd control. They have Rise Prison and Morgana Bindings to try and play off of, but otherwise, just try and bully them down with straight damage.
Yep. The hardest form of crowd control, as we know, is of course death, as the coaches will shake hands and move backstage to analyze what hopefully for Malaysia is a win here to force a third game. We'll see exactly what transpires, of course, as the Philippines do enter this second game 1-0 up in our best of three. I do like the adjustments, though. I think Philippines aggression, raw aggression worked for them in the last game, so they're kind of sticking to their guns in a lot of ways here. For Malaysia, they're saying, you know what, we do want to make sure to still fight you. That's the kind of team they are, but just drafting a little bit more defensively to maybe invite some of that aggression and then counter it with all these defensive abilities. But given the pace of team fights last game, if there's a team that's going to find a way to make Lulu Soraka aggressive, it's these guys.
Yeah, and exactly as we cautioned before, if the Philippines can get enough damage to force those defensive cooldowns out early, then they won't have to worry about any sort of re-engagement. Let's get on to the riff for number 2, though. Pastry time. Game number 1 was exciting. I expect this one to be very similar.
Certainly so. I believe we were well over a kill a minute in our last one. So I imagine the same will hold true for this game, as it has all tournament long here at Hyperplay. Team's going to move out. Dodoy back on Trusty Graves with the Dark Harvest. But other than that, don't see anything too crazy with the ruins. Maybe Misfortune, Arcane Comet.
Going to go for the harassment here. Misfortune plus Morgana has a similar pattern there for the harassment. If you can bind him in a place behind a minion too, Misfortune can add a lot of damage. She goes for short trades with an auto and Q. Make use of the love tap on minions to be able to reset with the bonus damage.
We can see teams being pretty defensively spread here. I think Malaysia might try and poke in once again for some shallow vision here near the red buff. At that brush behind it, but looks like Kurosu's blocking a lot of that off right now. Just making sure no one can walk through this choke point here.
Yeah, a lot of focus up on the top side, and it looks like we had a Ghost Poro here from Caspiel on the top. He put it defensively up in his brush behind the red buff, as you can see at the very top of the screen, but that Ghost Poro is going to see the delayed invade here from the Philippines as they scare it away.
Yep, now they know, but red buff was a start here, so it's 2v2 between Vlad and Kindred.
And again, I like the Graves early on here in this matchup, trying to bully. Everyone collapsing, though. RH on the Lulu's coming over. The red buff does reset.
Yep, I think maybe he's just trying to fight the champions. Is Dodoy actually going to get onto Shiro and do a little bit of damage? Can't you also rotate it up here?
Low patience here on the red buff. If it changes targets one more time, then they might even have a second reset. Yep, there it goes.
And it looks like they're just going to hold, but Dodoy wants to stick around for this.
Yeah, maybe he wants to go for the smite fight. Actually, RH is going to walk his way out, and they do see them leaving. RH now zoned from the minions in mid lane a little bit, so Kanji is going to have an experience lead here of just the slightest one in this matchup, and that might set the Rise up for a little bit more aggression.
Pretty interesting, though. We were around so long. So Dodoy actually walked to the Scuttle Crab that spawned the first Kindred bounty, so he's going to deny that one away from Caspiel.
Yeah, Caspiel will be happy to get his red buff, but as you said, Kindred Mark was on the top side. He goes red to red now, Benzine over the ward, and that is going to be a collapse because Dodoy does not want to let him get away from this one.
Kurosu already here, but actually Caspiel might be able to find a pre-flash. He's going to actually dodge the binding, but now Kanji is going to be the target they try and grab. The flourish doesn't quite connect to the root, though. Red buff not going to chase in. RH so trying to get something happening as Vecchi's finally roamed up here. Dodoy though happy to fight. Mano and Mano as Caspiel actually flips over the wall and gets out of the fight. So many lone members on the Philippines side, but no one dead for first blood.
In the end, the Philippines do chase him out of their own jungle, and Dodoy will be able to take this red buff here. Luckily for Graves, even though they're trading a lot in these skirmishes, Graves does not take much damage at all while he's jungling. But here they come. Kindred actually going to chase him again.
Oh, that flourish barely going to miss. Quick draw from Dodoy gets him out of the way, but the Raptor Camp steal is going to come, does grab it.
And that cost the bottom lane here of Malaysia a lot of experience as Jin and Soraka completely abandon their lane. The Misfortune already level 3, holding solo experience down in the bottom side, while all of these jungle shenanigans are going up here in the red buff quadrant of the Philippines.
Yep, CS lead as well right now for Clyde, so we'll see how things stack up here. Clyde patiently holding this wave, knows that Malaysia do have to come back here and deal with the incoming minions.
24 CS for himself there. Clyde CSing alone in the bottom lane, and they can try and harass the Malaysian bottom lane under the turret. Caspiel, let's see which direction he goes. It looks like he was waiting around for a possible gank on bottom side, but there's so many minions, and the harassment from the Philippines duo actually lands, and look at how low health Becky is.
Oh, actually did manage to chunk Kurosu. Superior with a nice Q to set it all up. Now still chasing.
He has the flash.
That's going to be a heal used. Kurosu still has to run Caspiel down again, but he's got no red buff. Goes into Kurosu. He's going to try and pick up the kill, but Superior almost so low. He gets picked off by Clyde, but not quite.
And that is the risk of going to gank one of your bottom lane that has been pushed in so heavily. And there was an experience advantage for Clyde, level 3 on the Misfortune. So nobody does go down, and we have yet to get first blood. Gold, dead, even.
Luckbuck, nice little trade, jumps in before the Crimson Rush can proc. So Shiro forced to use that on a minion instead. And meanwhile, Dodoy, from all this bot side pressure, going to invade again. And I can see it once more, Kirby. He does have that Poacher's Dirk.
And this time around, he's going to be able to convert the Poacher's Dirk a lot easier as he goes in for a Raptor, and he will be able to get a Krug steal right after this. He's going to leave one small Raptor there so that the reset timer will be delayed for Caspiel. You definitely don't want to let your jungle camp stay super low level. Here we go, Shiro, will he be able to find the Krug and steal it away? Oh, yes, that feels very good for the Vladimir. To be able to soften that one up. Does get the big and small Krug kills for his teammate to allow the camp to reset.
Nice stuff there. So Shiro says thanks for the leash. As Dodoy going to run back in towards his blue side jungle. Still has Gromp and blue buff ready to take. I think those are the original ones as well. So has not been over there given all the action that happened bot side.
Oh, we're going for a mid lane gank here. Rai is going to have to be careful, but Kanji doing a good job of staying up to the top side of the map where he knows that Dodoy has just invaded on. So there can't be any threat coming from that side. Really nice lane movements here from Kanji as he stays safe. Kindred, Mark has spawned on bottom side though for Caspiel. He'll be very happy to get that one stacking up.
Yeah, pretty delayed unfortunately in getting that first one, but we'll grab it there. Kanji not quite able to steal it. That would have been quite a tragic moment, but first stack now on board here.
Yeah, they're going to be able to clear out the control ward as well around the mid lane though, remove some of that safety. Dodoy has just finished up the blue quadrant, so he'll now rotate down to the bottom half of the map. And again, Misfortune, Morgana, Clyde, and Corsu again bullying their lane on the bottom side. This has been such a point of power for the Philippines. With their bottom lane duo really doing well.
Yep, Clyde continuing to perform, even though the Jin was taken away this time around. Early Dirk there as well, so is going for that lethality, Kobe, that you mentioned. Pretty common build. Curious to see kind of how much Clyde can get done in these early to mid-game stages, which I think is where he wants to be aggressive, especially in this kind of matchup with this kind of build.
Another Cloud Drake has spawned in this game as well, so we're going to get another one in a row. Meanwhile, still level 4 here, Kindred looking for another gank. Caspiel, while his red buff, he waits for his red buff to spawn. Kanji is a little bit far up too. They might be able to get something here because there's no flash left on Rise.
Yep, now just going to force the impatience. Kanji trying to run well out of the way, but first blood over to Caspiel.
Nice pickup there for Malaysia. There was no flash available for Kanji, and they barely were able to get him before it came back up.
Walk here though, trying to get aggressive onto Shiro, but Shiro holding pretty firm. Does get knocked away as the Crimson Rush proc, but he is able to get the trade back and actually get most of his health back from that trade.
And this is a Predator Vladimir with the early upgrade for Ninja Tabby since he's facing Jason the top side. He just wants to get enough armor and resistances there with the Dorian Shield as well, allowing him to sustain through with his Q and just farm up. If the Jace isn't able to bully him early on there, and the Jace also doesn't have Ignite, then it should be easy there for Shiro to scale later into the game and try and play the team fights for his team and do a little bit of zoning.
Well, despite all the pressure here, Becky, I don't know if intentionally or not, but did actually burn his summoner heal. Clearly wants to stay in lane for a little while longer, and the CS hasn't evened up a lot better. Clyde, though, still with that XP lead as Veki collapsing on the Kanji once more. Does have his splash this time, is going to be forced to use it.
Ooh, the mid lane focus for Malaysia paying off. They get the flash almost on cooldown again. Top side, though, Vladimir ult is used.
Yep, defensive ult. Good juke around the shock blast as well there by Shiro. Still trying to stay up and safe. But Dodoy onto the mark. This is going to be a fight. Caspiel already here. He really wants to try and contest for this.
It's dangerous, though.
Certainly is. Again, the bot lane of Philippines is already roaming up. The crab does go over to Dodoy, so that's going to deny that bounty, unfortunately. For Caspiel, he's not going to grab it this time.
Yeah, Dodoy's super happy with the timing there. Bottom lane, though, big advantage as they bully Veki out. Now Dodoy, though, has to run away.
Yeah, Veki no heal in a 2v1, so tough stuff there for the Din. Dodoy continuing to just aggressively invade here. Blue buff donation is going to be attempted, but now again the fight's going to happen. Caspiel gets wild growth, but that's not enough, I don't think, to save him. Superior, though, is actually going to change it all, and Caspiel gets the kill, and I believe the bounty as well.
Huge team play here from Malaysia. Again, RH rotates over so fast on the Lulu. He's able to protect his jungler in the 1v1, who kind of baits there, honestly. He queues right into Graves, and Dodoy thinks he's going to have a huge advantage, but he goes down!
MF ult barrier, though, from the Soraka, and the flash ignite is ticking down. But Superior is going to stay alive.
So close there as the Philippines land another binding and a huge amount of damage. Now they're going to get a lot more onto the turret as well, and this could be first turret bonus gold this early into the game.
Maybe make it 2 in a row. Clyde going to try and juke out of the bullets. He just wants the turret. Is still taking fire, but the minion wave stayed up. No, actually only one caster group left, so not going to get it this go-round.
Yeah, RH here on the Lulu has been very mobile, constantly threatening these roams. He chases them off, so the bonus is not going to be there. Kindred might have to ult.
2-level difference. Caspiel forced to pop the Lamb's Rust by it. Wok still fighting around, but I don't know where Kindred can really run to. Here's RH again, though. Looking to save his teammate. The collapse is good, and Caspiel able to pick it up.
And Caspiel feels so good about this Lulu mid lane. RH has been there every time he needs him to defend. Plus, he was able to get a mark off of that. And these kills going right into the Kindred 3-0, allowing him to snowball. Caspiel, this might be one of his hard carry games. Bottom lane again, though, for the Philippines is the target.
Such a clever pressure point here. As Dodoy does roam into the bot side of the map. That will be first turret gold once again gifted over to Clyde. Even going to stay around and get it solo as well.
Even with the turret discrepancy there, Malaysia still has the overall gold advantage. Dodoy, though, trying to get another one of these Cloud Drakes. This will be the 4th Cloud Drake if we count last games here for the Philippines.
Almost feels like it's a bit of a shame given how aggressive these teams like to be, but still, a Drake's a Drake. They'll pick it up. They'll be happy to get themselves that first one. And are you serious? Cloud Drake number 5 coming up, Kobe. Straight out of the 90s, a Superior, goodbye. Clyde able to take him down.
Yeah, that is not your side of the map here, as it has been the Philippines invading on the bottom side, and they're able to get the kill onto Soraka. Top side, though, Wok.
Hey, RH trying to get it done. Wok flashing out of the way, but an instant follow flash. Shiro ulti out after the Tides of Blood. Does use it, and Shiro able to get the kill. Nice dive from Malaysia.
Both teams not, careful enough on the weak side of the map for themselves. Big power play from Malaysia on the top side, and big power play from Philippines on the bottom side, picking up the extra kills there.
Veki now in the mid lane, actually taking over, at least briefly, as Rift Herald is going to continue to try and extend the trade here for Malaysia. We already know the Drake the Philippines were able to get. This is, again, smart play on the strong side of the map, as you mentioned, Kobe. Here for Malaysia, Kurosu going to try and disrupt it, but don't think anyone's going to make it around for a steal. In fact, Veki and Superior going to roam in as well, just to make sure.
Okay, so this is going to be the Rift Herald picked up for Malaysia in exchange for the bottom lane focus and Cloud Drake that went over to the Philippines. Could be used up here in mid lane after they reset and go purchase their items first. Philippines already went back to base, and that's why you can see the completed Ghostblade and such. It was a very nice, again, Morgana binding from Corsu to set this entire one up. The rest of the team joins in the Rise Ultimate, and that is just good skill shots there from Corsu.
That was the most creative Rise portal I've seen in a while. Love it, as he does manage to escort 2 different marksmen in there to pick up the kill. But like you said, credit to Kurosu for setting it all up. Always fun to see a good party portal, though. Clyde is going to match here in the 2v2 mid lane. Looks like we've fully rotated now. No mid laners with teleport, maybe something to note here, but relatively mobile between the Lulu and the Rise. See how Philippines can do in this siege. Have to remember that Caspiel is looking to get the Rift Herald moving here, but looks like a little too much pressure right now between the Jace and the Morgana. Gonna have to call a few Morgana, maybe force a fight, Kobe.
Yeah, I mean, they want to siege with the Jace, but now they're getting Jhin ultimate and run off the map.
Yeah, that was Predator Vlad just got stopped in his tracks by a Dark Binding, so Kurosu again, good accuracy there on the skill shot. He's able to stop the potential engage from Malaysia, as Shiro had a pretty good look at a flank there on the left side.
We probably should see some early armor coming in from Malaysia. A little bit of armor is going to go a long way.
He's in there. He's so in there. Kanji has his flash, but Caspiel already started it off, flashing halfway across the lane.
Yeah, when you get marked by Kindred and then Kindred comes flash on your face, you know what's coming. So immediate answer there from Kanji. He flashes himself out of danger and is going to be able to reset afterwards. Again, the Rift Herald is in possession of Caspiel here, the 3-0 Kindred that is looking to carry as they get later into the stages of the game. He's also picked up those early ninja tabbies. Those are going to help him versus the 3 attack damage threats that are stacking lethality on the Philippines side and allow him to delay the use of his ultimate so he doesn't have to pop it so quickly.
Well, we see Dodoy actually still ticking down that poaches, so 2 camps left now as he does take away the Grom.
That's another mark. Number 3 here for Caspiel. 1 more to go for the increase in range, and that is going to be a huge advantage for them. Topside, though.
That was a nice flash, but actually the root still lands in, but not empowered there for Kanji. Again, trying the combo Rise plus a Marksman, looking to combo through as Wok Wok. Going to get deleted there by Caspiel.
Caspiel is going to take off right now. 4 kills now for the Kindred. Philippines, though, trying to focus mid once again.
Rift Herald top. Caspiel just trying to get the tempo going here as Oraveki face tanking a lot of Rise damage, and the ult from Graves not quite enough to pick up the rest of the health bar.
Yeah, Soraka is doing a lot of work for Malaysia, healing them up and allowing the Rift Herald push on topside. You cannot beat a Rift Herald push with a non-Rift Herald team, even if you stick around mid lane. So extra tower goes over here. Now it's 1-to-1 as Malaysia are able to pick up that goal.
Really nice 1-2 rotation. Kurosu going to get picked off next. Caspiel unstoppable.
5 kills now for Caspiel on the Kindred. Mid lane might be the next target.
They're going to get picked off. Kanji also a good target if Kindred can't get back in there. Kanji flashing out of the way, but he gets burned down by RH. Here's Caspiel. We're going to go all the way around for the tower dive. Clyde, he's in trouble. Goes down, dominating there from Caspiel. RH unfortunately does go down. The shield not enough to save him.
And that puts him in place for another Kindred mark that comes up as well on the Raptor camp. So Caspiel is just getting out of control right now. He is 6 kills on the Kindred. When he goes back to purchase, this is going to be a very difficult thing for the Philippines to deal with, honestly, here. RH, though, did give over the kill as he was tanking up tower aggro.
Back will be completed. Kurosu not able to quite sniff him out there in the Pixel Brush. So Phage now for Caspiel.
Should be a full completed. Oh, he's going Trinity Force.
Just saw a stinger.
Yep.
Watch this one again, though.
Here's how they started it all out. This was after the top side kill. Huge amount of damage done there, as Superior also uses a Soraka ultimate. And RH tanks a little bit too much there. He didn't expect the extra burst damage from the Rise Q. So that was a good job from Rise. Right before he goes down, Kanji's able to get off a last Q and get himself back a counter kill. Wok Wok and Dodoy, though, have their eyes on Lulu.
RH, what are his instincts like right now?
He's going to walk around that corner. That is a scary corner to walk around. You get hit with a surprise combo.
No, make it 3, actually. Kurosu also roaming up here. RH going to need some friends. About to get dove. Black Shield already on. Good stopwatch to buy a bit more time. Does have the ult as well. Knocks up the Graves. Dodoy actually taking the tower.
Oh, he got it!
Actually killed Kurosu! And now Dodoy's out as well. RH! Houdini's out of the top lane.
This is insane Lulu play all game from RH, saving his teammates, roaming around, protecting his jungle, coming up with 1v3 outplays and gets the kill for himself.
Shiro also pressuring here on the bot side, so Malaysia looking to take the turret lead once again here in the game. Also, the Cloud Drake got picked up by Caspiel, so finally getting a Drake on their side.
Oh, this is why pro players will always take the stopwatch space tree time, coming up with big plays like that. Bottom side is going to be another turret that goes over, and Malaysia look like they want to take this one to a game 3.
Certainly looking good so far. A pretty healthy lead of close to 3,000 gold, although Wok Wok's going to cut that down to about 2k as he does manage to finish off the top lane. Out of the turret, Clyde, though, he's been trying to farm safely in mid lane, has hold that thought. Solo kill potentially incoming. RH so misses that follow-up glitter lance, so not able to grab it, unfortunately.
All right, the Philippines trying to reset this game so they can come back and get a little bit of tempo for themselves. The last outer turret does still stand for both teams. So there's going to be a lot more focus here around the mid lane. And we've seen so often, you know, the combination, binding lands into a Misfortune ultimate, but you have to watch out for Soraka's positioning. Superior's been pretty good with the silences and interrupting that Misfortune ultimate. So there are a lot of things Clyde is going to have to account for if he wants to be a big impact in the team fight.
Yep. Early Ghost Blade's looking good. Now has more lethality stacking up, and I do like the early executioners as well. Between the Vlad and the Soraka, a lot to kind of cut down there. So we'll see kind of how Clyde's build develops. As on the other side, Veki does have his Storm Razor, but Caspiel again continuing his rampage. Looking to build up the Triforce. Walkwalk is going to go down. Says, give me your gold. Now Dodoy going to run away, but an instant follow flash there as a respite is popped up. It's actually going to be a 2v3, maybe a little bit too much here for Caspiel. He is shut down by Kanji. And they're not done. The Realm Warp in RH needs to get out again. Does do so. Boss cones him out of the quick draw.
Step number one there for the Philippines, and trying to come back though is completed. They got the huge shutdown kill.
Trying for some snipes. Corrosive a little too far forward, about to be silenced, but the root not able to quite connect. Clyde chasing in, looking to tap down, does get the love tap in onto Superior.
Whoop, Korosu has to be a bit careful there. Veki almost snipes him with the W. Vlad flank.
Oh, big flank here from Shiro actually. Charging things up, did have the Predator ticking away, but doesn't quite find the angle. Not able to convert for a team fight or a kill.
All right, time to move in some of the deeper vision here for Malaysia. Impressed with the advantage that they do have. As soon as they have Caspiel back out on the map, they can move in, go for those invades, clear out some of the wards, and try and set up for the next big play here. Baron is on the map now, post 20 minutes, so if there is another big pick like that, they can burn through it. Training Force has been completed as well for Caspiel on the Kindred. It is a champion that does scale very well with all of those stats. Make use, of course, of the Sheen as well as so much attack speed and cooldown reduction. See, the 3v1 outplay though. Stopwatch tanks the turret. They are able to finish off with the aggro, and then the glitter right through the backside for him to be able to pick up the kill, and using his ultimate for the knockout plus flash to get out of there. Very nicely done.
RH has been looking pretty good so far in the series. Zoe looked nice in game one, and Lulu continuing on the same path here in his second one. Malaysia still up with the advantage, again close to that 3,000 gold mark, and up in turrets looking to continue to pressure on the map with their very fed Kindred.
Yeah, honestly, a big part of why Kindred is so fed is because of the Lulu, because of RH from the mid lane, constantly roaming from mid to the jungle to help out with those early kills. And now it's up to this super stacked Kindred to be able to carry it later on in the game. Honestly, they should have the 5v5 advantage.
Yeah, Kanji just got marked, so I don't think he should be face checking the jungle. Actually forced to flash away. They're going to look in. Korosu goes down to Caspiel. Malaysia with a quick kill.
All right, teleport is also used for a walk here, but they're already outnumbered and outgunned as the kill has gone over to Malaysia. They can push out the wave and then move right down mid lane here for some more turret damage.
Kind of a tough time to be rotating top low for Walkwalk because 5 strong in the mid lane. This tier 2 is dead. Philippines will have to concede the objective. Where to next?
Well, we have Jace split pushing for the Philippines on the top side, trying to draw them back across the map and put a stop to the push. There are a couple control wards left on the map for the Philippines as well that do have Baron covered, so they don't have to be too worried about a big rush.
Looks like Walkwalk does do his job, push the wave and then get out of there. So it looks like RH will roam up here with Superior after clearing the Baron vision. And we'll make sure that wave goes back in the other direction. Blue buff here also being prepped. Kanji still marked, but he does get the blue for himself. Looking a little thin on items right now, but does have the upgraded Seraphs. And looks like Philippines starting to stick together a little bit more. Again, know that around the 22.5 minute mark where we are now is the time to be worrying a bit more about Baron. And also this very stubborn mid-outer turret that has stayed up for so much of this game.
Looks like we're going to have a collapse behind them. Look at the river. Here comes Kindred and Vladimir.
This is a great setup here potentially for the MF ult. Tries to pick off Superior, doesn't grab it. Clyde the target. Ult there from Shrew, but another good binding is Caspiel trying to zone off Dodoy. Wild growth there into the Vladimir is Veki. Able to take down Walkwalk. Dodoy going to go down to Caspiel. And Kanji slips out with the Realm Warp and kills the Vlad, but that's 2-1 in favor of Malaysia.
Malaysia are able to move in here, and it actually ends up with the counter kill, so 2-2. Philippines strike back as well as they're trying to get out of the scattered skirmish there. In the end, the Philippines also got the turret down to at least open up the map a little bit. But again, Caspiel is so fed on this Kindred. No one can really deal with him 1v1. And with the dragon spawning, this one, an Infernal Drake, Malaysia will probably want to get right back out onto the map and claim control of the dragon area first so they can secure this with the extra fed Kindred.
Looks like actually going back to spend some money. So next item is on the way, has the hammer and the dirk, but let's watch this one again. This looks so good here for Malaysia with a flank by Shiro and Caspiel.
Yeah, binding there to start it off where the Philippines did get the Soraka low, which allowed them to fight back. You see the Graves ultimate from Dodoy? He did get that kill, even though then he's left alone with Caspiel and can't do anything about it. Long range kill there as well. Be able to pick up the Vladimir in the end. Now we're back out onto the map though. So this is Cloud Drake. Honestly, 6 Cloud Drakes we've spawned in a row, and this is going to be another one over to the Philippines. Wak and them are able to get right back out to it.
I wonder how many times in a series we've had this many of the same Drakes spawn in a row.
Gotta go fast.
I feel like it's some sort of record at this point, but we'll see. Good news though, Kobe, can be no more Cloud Drakes spawning this game because we've had the maximum in both games in the series so far. We're turning our hand back towards more serious matters, perhaps. Malaysia still looking to leverage some of this gold lead, and again, the strength of this 9-1 Kindred with the backup and support from RH and the rest of the squad. Baron is going to be the very big objective that they want to take, and Malaysia should do it pretty quickly. How much damage the Kindred stacked up, and of course, great vision control around the objective as well.
Yeah, they also have a teleport ready on Vladimir, so Shiro with this Predator Vladimir is going to try and flank into the fight, create some room for Kindred to actually fight around, get some isolated matchups. And with the Soraka and Lulu protecting him, that's the whole game plan here. Try and sustain, try and keep him there in the 1v1s and turn the tide of this game. A lot of vision being cleared out now. Malaysia taking a lot of control around the Baron area to try and force the Philippines to come face check in.
I mean, you can tell the game plan has certainly changed here for Malaysia. A much slower game than we did see in game number 1. Malaysia, I think, taking their time a little bit more, trying to set things up around the objectives and find good fights. Philippines, though, to their credit, have been team fighting very well, even at a disadvantage. So when they're together, they seem quite strong, but Wak might get himself picked up here. Caspiel fancies himself yet another kill. Wak does have his flash, but it's just so useless. Caspiel is on a killing spree. Yep,
and that is going to be another one. There's a mark down there as well. That means the rest of the team has to evade while the Philippines try and go for a counterplay.
Actually looking to force here, trying to get the tags down. Dodoy going to eat a couple bullets. Actually face checks RH, but pops a wild growth. The force not going to quite hit as Kanji regroups with the squad.
Yep, they're running it out now because Kindred has the inner side on the mid lane, and Malaysia are going to push down an inhibitor turret while they try and use the Rise ultimate recall here for Philippines. This inhibitor turret is toast.
Yeah, this one's dead, but maybe they can protect the inhib, Kobe. Maybe not. There's the damage, I think, a little too much. Philippines back here, but they need a couple more shots. Caspiel finds it. Trinity Force Empowerment able to take down the mid inhib once again.
Yeah, inhibitor taken, and they're able to exit quickly as well. Nobody goes down. The chase, though.
Caspiel looking to outplay, maybe. Does pop the ulti, but where's his friends? Dive instantly on the other side as they're looking for Dodoy. And Clyde looks like Caspiel is dead. He's going to get shut down, but Shiro able to find such a good double kill. But it's 2 for 2 so far, and now Shiro's got a kite out with no health.
Yeah, a little bit aggressive there. Now the Philippines chasing Shiro into their own base, and Wak should be able to get the kill, but now it is Corso that goes down.
Yeah, Veki able to take a kill. A shutdown there for Wak, and as the dust settles, only one left alive. Maybe make that not true. As
this
Veki
is 2 Cloud Drakes to 1 as
no.
he's trying to chase him down.
No flashes either, but Veki's coming up in a little bit. Doesn't hit the Blast Cone. Kanji still chasing. Actually, Blast Cone's forward to try and get in range. There's the shot down. Kanji trying to fight it out of the way, but the Kanji does actually get flourished up and rooted, so no follow-up kill. But a bloodbath once again, Kobe.
Yeah, and they are able to reset after this. Again, inhibitor was taken down before all the fighting, though, so minions streaming into the base. Caspiel starts it out. 1v3 basically has to ult early on Kindred. And this is a huge misfortune ultimate to take down the Soraka early to disallow some more of the healing. Both solo laners here for the Philippines then forcing out the extra kill. Again, though, Veki on your right here with the Jhin gets in. Even though the binding hits, he comes into range for the last shot. Jhin able to get one more off.
Yep, rapid fire cannon with the assist there for Veki. He does get himself another kill. Still kind of looking to group things up around the Baron as always. But Malaysia with that pressure in mid lane may have an easier time.
Executioner's calling as well as Morello. Very good itemization here from the Philippines. They are definitely behind and they're trying to fight themselves out of a losing situation, but you need that healing reduction when you're playing against Soraka and Vladimir and Kindred as well. A lot of damage actually to the Soraka we're speaking of.
Yeah, Superior is not very tanky on this Soraka. Does have the barrier to help out, but no flash after that little exchange. Did lose it in whatever scuffle did ensue. And now pressure will maybe turn back down here onto our last regular Drake of this game. Not sure what it did exactly just yet, but a little bit of vision set up here by the Philippines as they're just trying to keep their super minion out of the mid lane and get some pressure here with Wak Wak, who does have the TP alongside Shiro, getting their pressure going.
Transformation complete.
Yeah, trying to push out the side lanes first to delay any of the pressure there from Malaysia. Malaysia should be able to secure vision around Baron though. As long as they can just clear out any of the Philippines' vision, they can hold this area and force them to come through the small jungle corridors to fight them on their own terms here, as they have the extra super minions that are assisting in mid lane.
See Kurosu is trying to get some pokes out, maybe clear some of the vision out. Actually does successfully defend one of their wards, and that control ward is going to pick up a couple traps here for Dodoy.
Yeah, during this whole time though, Shiro on the Vladimir, level 16, split pushing bottom, is getting the bottom wave going in Malaysia's favor as they try and fight the vision wars around Baron.
Yep, 3 items and Predator up as well, so Shiro has shown a lot of good looks on his flanks. Not quite enough to convert for a clean team fight win just yet, but certainly looking good on this champion, as Wak Wak has been the constant attention of Caspiel, who's still sitting pretty here, building up to item number 4. But Drake is about to spawn. We'll see if the teams do want to look for it here, or if maybe priority around that Baron is what they're really looking for at the moment. Caspiel, though, looks like he will just casually finish off the Mountain Drake.
Yeah, very easy for Kindred to take up the Drake solo. Plenty of damage there, level 16 as well. And the Mountain Drake is going to give them a lot more effectiveness if they do, secure some of the true sight around Baron. So much, though, for the Philippines right now is about pushing out these super minions in mid lane and then rotating over to fight that war. Here we go, though. Caspiel now waiting around. They might want to 2v1 the Jace again, as we've seen previously. Rise ultimate, though.
All right, again, going to maybe get picked up, but the Wildgrowth is not enough to save him this time. Dodoy with a really nice pickup for the rest of his team.
Big play, and they also make the call for Wak Wak to pull back so he doesn't get 2v1 killed at the turret, and this is a power play for the Philippines. What can they do with the extra man advantage? Lulu's off the table. They're forcing it with the turret, and Baron started up.
Caspiel is just pushing as a marksman here in the bot side, finally gives up on that inhibitor. As Jin lining up the 4 shot, does chunk Clyde out nicely. Trying to force them off the Baron. We do have a pause. Very tense time to have stoppage in the game, Kobe.
Yeah, they're drawn both sides of the map here. It looks like Philippines fully forced off of this Baron with that Jin ultimate, though, and especially with the threat of Caspiel roaming up from the bottom side of the map. Really big play for the Philippines to try and get back into this one, though, with the Rise ultimate snipe, as they were able to catch RH. Take a look here as we're able to finish out the last little hiccups.
I think while we do have a spot, definitely credit to Kanji so far in this series. I mean, talked a lot about RH in the Zoe early game, in game number 1, and on this Lulu has been doing a great job facilitating and escaping a lot of the pressure. But once again, Kanji just kind of hanging out in the landing phase, doing some farming, trying to support his teammates. And again, looking really strong on this Rise. Has great roam warps, is team fighting well on the champion, which is certainly not easy. And I think Philippines kind of know that they're getting pulled across the map a little bit. They're trying to force as best they can. So it's definitely interesting to see Malaysia move away somewhat from more of their team fighting style and maybe try and play the map a little bit more this game.
Yeah, Malaysia in a very good spot right now. They have a lot of control. As soon as the Lulu gets back onto the map, they can try and set once up again with the split push there. Inhibitor is still down for a couple more waves, so they do have the super minions to work with. And a very good chance at forcing a game number 3 for everyone to enjoy here.
Certainly would be fun, but we'll get you updates on the pause when we have them. Right now it looks like some of the players just going over. Okay, looks like one of the players' clans needs a restart, so it shouldn't take too long. Of course, we'll get you back into the game as soon as we are ready. kind of interesting to see Philippines kind of playing, I think, the similar situation. I mean, last game they just kept fighting and won, I feel like, in a lot of the mid to late game exchanges based on better coordination, I would say. But this game is certainly another one where they're behind, but more behind than the last one. So I feel like we're going to have to see, again, a lot of that strong team fighting prowess. But again, Malaysia, to their credit, not kind of giving any of those opportunities over.
I just like that we're seeing the 6 come up on the dice that they talked about.
Yep.
For Caspiel. He got a lot of assistance in getting the early kills, but now he definitely has a lot of power. It's very interesting that he's gone for this build as well. We don't really see this a lot in a lot of the broadcasted games, as the Trini Force into lethality does have a lot of early burst damage, and if you can get up your kindred marks as well, that is going to give you a lot of more sustained damage to deal with some of the objectives. With that, Mountain Drake picked up as well. There's going to be a lot of threat here as they move deeper into this game. This is, by the way, one of the longest games that we have had so far in this tournament.
Yep.
So definitely getting exciting here as we get into the tense late game shot calling, pushing against bottom side, as well as having to deal with chasing people off of that Baron.
Yeah, important again as a reminder. So you just tuning in here at Hyperplay. Even though we have just started our first semi-final with these top 4 teams here in the Singapore Indoor Stadium, there has been 2 months of tournament being played across 10 different regions here in Southeast Asia. So a lot of games being played by these teams, a lot of back and forth. But these are the teams that have made it. And in all those games, they've been incredibly fast. These top 4 teams have been very fast, willing to go for kills, fighting a lot. So again, seeing kind of 2 pretty evenly matched opponents, I would say, based on what we've seen in these first game and half, does feel like they are pretty evenly balanced. And it's maybe why we're having the game be a little bit slower. I've heard that the players are ready, so everyone's just getting checked. And then when we're good to go, we should be straight back into the game and see how, again, our very tense moment does unfold here around the Baron.
Right, we got to remember what just happened. There was the kill where the Philippines were able to pick off the Lulu in top side using Rise Ultimate, then immediately started Baron, but have been chased off since by Malaysia. Jin Ultimate being opened up, and they're trying to run through the river again as they are still outnumbered.
Just have to wait to jump back into the game. Kind of interesting to think that maybe Jin is going to be a pick to look out for as the series does continue, but game is getting back underway, so we should be jumping in pretty soon here. See exactly what transpires here around the objective. Well, looks like actually a fight may have already broken out. Yeah, I can see Shiro did actually start off a flank and picks up Kurosu, so Malaysia maybe with a man advantage here around the Baron. It's actually 4 for 4 right now as RH is still dead after the last exchange we saw. But they're trying to chase him down. Yeah, Caspiel over the wall, flips in there. Looking for Kanji, but it's actually 1v3, pops a wrist bit early. Here comes Superior, they're going to try and heal him up. Shiro also running some interference, so that's just going to be a defensive look. Caspiel will steal away a camp, but I don't think Baron is really on the table right now for Malaysia.
Yeah, Caspiel actually jumped a little bit early out of the Kindred Ultimate. Fortunately, they have Soraka there healing him up. The Scuttle Crab for Vision is taken by Malaysia, and they've been able to clear out most of the wards. Now they've bought enough time as well for RH to actually respawn. Level 16 Kindred coming through. Very dangerous for the Philippines venturing through the jungle now.
Caspiel not afraid either, and actually they will start the Baron. No need to take a recall, just heals up, and now they're going to try and rush this one down. They've got that one Mountain Drake. They've got a lot of damage here on their 2 marksmen.
Shock Blast come through. They're poking him down.
Yeah, they're just going to finish it off. The smite should be there for Caspiel. No one can get in RH with a good zone, and now they're going to dive in for the fight. No ult there, but the Wild Growth is Proc Superior. Gets picked off there by the MF ult, though. And now RH is forced to run away. Caspiel tries to hop on out of there, but the Wak Wak already got the kill in onto Lulu. Clyde now chasing in, going to try and pick off even more. The ulti comes back up here for Caspiel, but where can he run? Kanji going to cut him off with the Roam Warp. He does get a kill onto the Misfortune, as Veki also trying to get the fancy feet going and outplay the situation. But Wak Wak going to chase in. Here's a TP from Shiro. Full shot ready, launches it in onto Wak Wak, but he gets shut down there. Here comes Shiro, they're going to try and trade it off. Hemo Plague might be enough. Malfying off, I think maybe going to wear up, but Wak Wak is going to get shut down there. Root is good once again, but Shiro actually got, yep, that's just to get onto Jace. Thought he might have picked up Kanji as well. And again, another nice binding from Kurosu to stop Shiro's initiation.
There's only one Baron buff left after all of that, Shiro. The only one left standing, as a lot of kills were chased down after the objective was picked up. And in the end, even you saw the burst damage for Trinity Force. Kindred actually getting him the kill off of the Lamb's Respite there in the last couple of seconds versus the Misfortune. Here's another look at the initiation though. Huge open there with the Misfortune ultimate as well, and then the zoning from Morgana on the bottom side. Philippines then continue the chase up here through the quadrant of the jungle, and they're able to force out the Kindred ultimate. Then look at this with the extra burst damage, Q's in and burst down the Misfortune. Then, though, a little bit of a long chase. Now we have a picture-in-picture for live. It looks like Vladimir's been caught on the bottom side of the map for Malaysia. He gets a kill for himself, but goes down.
Kurosu again finds the binding and then combos in with the ulti to buy time for the rest of his team. A trade, though, is not too bad as Malaysia do barrel down mid lane back to that exposed inhibitor.
Yeah, with everybody going bottom lane there for the Vladimir, Malaysia have the inside track, take down the inhibitor with 4 members strong. Will they get caught?
Kanji again. Oh, great silence there by Soraka to just fend off any follow-up rise pressure. But as we've seen, I mean, mid-inhib is nice, but it has not been enough just yet to really get anything else, even though they got the Baron. These teams just love to fight so much, Kobe. No one's taking those towers.
We definitely have a lot of damage flying around. Graves here as well. Picks up an Executioner's Call for himself, and again, the debuff applied from 3 separate members now. It's going to be very effective for these team fights. We're seeing the Philippines starting to catch up here, but Malaysia, again, with that mid inhibitor down, they're going to try and make another push here to gain some ground and fight their way back into this series.
Yeah, Caspiel continuing to hop around. Wanted to try and sneak into that brush there and maybe pick off Clyde, who has been stellar so far on the Misfortune, despite a few deaths. Blue buff still to hit the Kanji as the Philippines continue to play strong on the right half of the map.
They have to be a little bit cautious about checking this brush now. Is he going to get caught?
Alright, yep, he is. Does pop the ulti. Lance Respite is good enough to save him. But what's the follow-up here? An aggressive TP into the Wolf Pit there from the Philippines. But now the root actually might be good. Kanji is maybe going to get picked off. The Guardian Angel is nice. And Kanji actually gets sniped with the Realm Warp going. But the bullet time again let loose from Clyde. Tries to pick a few off, but he doesn't quite get it. Now Philippines going to get pincered here. Caspiel flashing over the wall, trying to pick him off. They need to get Clyde. The damage is good. Becky able to get the killing blow. It's going to be an ace. Malaysia able to pick up all 5 members of the Philippines.
And with the mid lane inhibitor down, Malaysia can go right down the mid lane and push this to a game 3.
They know what they need to do, and indeed they will go straight down mid. Kobe super minions perfectly timed to escort them into the base. And again, it was another story of back and forth team fights here between the two sides, but Malaysia not even waiting. They will celebrate by face tanking Nexus turrets, exposing this one and pushing us to a game number 3.
And what a different story this time around. Huge prop to the Lulu play there from RH in the mid lane, helping out his team, playing that supportive mid laner, but coming up with big plays for himself nonetheless.
Certainly another thrilling set back and forth. I did feel like the early mid-game control was there for Malaysia. It's, I guess, a little bit different than what we've seen in game number 1, but still, when the team fights happen, they are very fast and very chaotic, and this time, it's Malaysia that are able to find the team fight win.
Super nice play there. And again, the super fed Kindred early, that's always going to feel really nice. Once you start getting those early kills, you get to stack up your marks very easily. And he actually even went with the Trinity Force build for a little bit of that extra burst damage, and they were able to find so many picks, trailing in the side lane as well with Vladimir.
Certainly looking pretty strong. I think we may be off to the analyst desk in just a second, but not sure we're getting there all yet, Kobe. So I'll make sure that happens in just a moment. I think it's funny that, like, yes, Caspiel kind of rolled that sick, had a much stronger game for himself looking for the carry, but instead it was RH, as you mentioned, that managed to get it all happening.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, good teamwork there this time around, so I'm excited to see the story of game number 3 and how this one does change.
All right, with the series tied at 1-1, let's check in with Fish and the guys for a closer look at Malaysia's win.
Thank you, Patient Time. With that, Malaysia have been able to tie up this series 1-1 against the Philippines. And there were a lot of different things that happened in the draft phase. We saw especially Zoe being banned out. We saw a couple of the jungle champions still being banned out against both the Philippines as well as Malaysia, but they tried to adapt to the first game.
Yeah, I have to say that some of the adaptations coming in from the draft were fantastic on Malaysia's side. The Twisted Fate pick, which really no other team has been bringing out. Great job by Malaysia to pick that up and say that, man, Philippines is just running over us with the gold cards, you know, so great adaptation there. And then the Jin for themselves. Really great start from draft.
Yeah, I think Malaysia really stick to their guns. They wanted to play the more defensive, more team fight style of play, and they knew they could survive the early burst coming out from the Jays, from the Graves, and that was their game plan going forward, just to look for that 5v5.
One of the players we've really highlighted going into the first match was Caspio as well as RH. RH got his Zoe taken away by a ban, and we said that was one of the champions that Malaysia relied on for hero plays that almost found a comeback in the first match. And we'll talk a little bit more about RH later on, but we really need to highlight Caspio because you two said at the start of the show he will make or break this team, and in this match he was able to carry them the victory with such a great start to the game.
Yeah, I have to say Caspio played out of his mind. I mean, great job from Malaysia to actually, you know, pick up that champion for him. And he absolutely, you know, here's the first blood, worked so well with RH. I mean, it's really the two-man duo, right? I mean, Caspio, once he got fed, then he started to take off on his own. But to get things kicking off, I have to say between him and RH, they played fantastically.
And a lot of these kills that you're seeing right now are actually kind of picks given to them by the Philippines side. There was 5 picks in a row, and all of those kills actually went over to Caspil. So you could say that he played really well, but you also have to say he caught the throws coming out from the Philippines and really carried his team from that point onward.
Because the first kill made a lot of sense for Malaysia. Caspil is a jungler who does target the mid lane as well as the bottom lane quite heavily. Went to the mid lane, he had a few repeat ganks there as well, but then from time to time caught players rotating for the side of Philippines through the jungle and trying to find unorthodox picks there. Very different coming out to the Philippines, trying to go for more aggressive champions and not as much crowd control from them as we've seen throughout this tournament so far.
I think that's the biggest thing about the Philippines right now, and their big weakness is that they give up a lot of isolation deaths. The most out of any single team in this tournament. And on the flip side, Malaysia is actually one of the cleanest teams. They can read rotations, they can surgically remove people, and they had the lowest amount of isolation deaths. So I think the mid-early game was really decided by that difference.
And we talked about RH earlier on not being able to pick up one of the hero picks like Zoe. This time he was on a support champion. And we talked about that because we thought, if he's on a support champion, how does he help this team? Turns out, even when he's on Lulu, he can still make the big outplays.
I absolutely love this play coming out from him. Look at the, you know, the presence of mind to actually put the help picks on and then use the glitter lance afterwards. That's high level stuff. I mean, you can say, oh, you know, the Morgana was taking for too long, but he, you know, when the Philippines make mistakes, that's how you get your ticket into the finals. You punish every single misstep and then you make your way.
And yes, Caspil as well as RH were able to work together to try and make their way to take it to Game 3, and they successfully did so, but it wasn't without any hiccups. Philippines were able to try and fight back on a couple of occasions and almost turn the tides of the game, which was something unexpected given how far ahead Caspil was.
And this is when you say Caspil is kind of a dice player. You know, sometimes you get the 6, sometimes you get the 1. There was no reason for him to be there, and he actually baits his entire team to engage along with him just to save the most fed member on his team. Philippines could have snowballed the game from that.
But it seems like that just wasn't enough. The Philippines looked like they were going to be able to snowball the game, but just didn't work out for the mark.
Yeah, I think for both of these teams, what they really need to look out for in the decisive Game 3 is to cut out on a lot of these mistakes. Because it's clear that when they make some of these changes, you know, to the team composition, there are some inconsistencies, rotations that are a bit lazy, champion positions that are out of the way. If they can tune up these things, then I think we should see much cleaner games because, you know, we see longer and slower games as well. And that's just, you know, not in the spirit of Hyperplay in this sense. But at the same time, I think the team that refines their strategy will definitely have a much greater showing.
And that's
Connor, what are your thoughts? I want to get your thoughts on that because if it's cleaner gameplay, you were talking about Malaysia being the pro team. What do you think? Who's going to affect more if they can clean up their gameplay?
I still think Malaysia is the cleaner team, but I want to see them play aggressive composition because a lot of these times you can see that they're not great at anticipating where the punches are going to be thrown at. So they should take the first step, go with the all-in bruiser type of comps that we've seen so much in 8.13, and be the one aggressors. People are not going to play defense in these type of games.
They were able to show a little bit of that in that second match, and with that, Malaysia being able to tie it up 1-1. Remember, at 4 o'clock later on, we have the Sam Willows who will take over the stage at Hyperplay before our second semi-final of the day between the representatives from Vietnam as well as Singapore. But coming up next, it's all on the line for Malaysia and the Philippines as we head into the deciding game in this best of 3. Stay tuned.